AITA for letting my child ride her pony to school. My 36F child, 7F, asked if she could ride her pony to school last week. For context, we have a small paddock attached to our home where we keep 2 horses. One for me and one for my child. Every morning before school my child gets all of her pony chores done before we leave, and we normally walk to school, which takes around 20 minutes. We live on the outskirts of a fairly populated city where it's not uncommon to see horses. Occasionally. But we are by no means in a rural village. I agreed to let my daughter ride her pony to school because I thought it was a harmless, fun thing to do. And also it gives the pony some exercise, as we had evening plans and wouldn't be riding that evening. We arrived at the school gates and of course gathered a little bit of a crowd, which wasn't a problem. The pony is very good and lapped up all the pats and strokes from kids. One girl came bounding over from the year above my daughter and started shouting at me, saying she wanted to ride. I politely told her that she couldn't because she doesn't have a riding hat and she would have to learn on a safer horse. She immediately started hysterically crying and pleading with her mom, saying he wanted to ride. Her mom looked at me with disgust and said, "See, this is what happens when you have no self-awareness and bring a fing horse to a school," and stormed off, dragging her kid with her. I was a bit taken aback but ignored her. Sent my child into school and walked the pony home. I was talking to my friend this weekend and she said I was in fact the problem and I was blatantly showing off and should have known that this would cause upset and problems. My response is I turn up to the school gates in jodhpurs and boots regularly, so everyone probably knows I have horses. Is that showing off too? All I wanted to do is let my daughter do something a bit silly and fun. Now I am really overthinking it though and almost feel nervous to do school drop-off tomorrow. So am I the asshole for letting my daughter ride her horse to school? Edit. I want to clear some things up. Firstly, I'm based in England. Secondly, the pony never went into school grounds. There is a small patch of grass about 30 meters from the main school gate and we stood there, so no child with allergies would have been subject to horse germs if they didn't deliberately come over to us. This also means that I don't feel like I should have run it by the school. And lastly, the pony is an ex-riding school pony. It has been surrounded by kids its whole life and used to do kids' birthday parties and everything. I know animals are unpredictable, but I was 99.999% sure that the pony would be fine and actually just appreciate the fuss off the tiny humans. He absolutely did. NTA. That woman blames other people for her clear lack of parenting skills. She has to manage her child's expectations. My husband takes our daughter to school on a motorcycle and it draws the same attention without the entitled demanding a ride and rude response. Edit to add. Would you bringing a puppy with you elicit the same responses? I think not. YWNBTA. NTA. The other parents need to teach their kids that you can't always have what other people have. It is a fact of life. And this is coming from someone that grew up below the poverty line. Are they gonna be mad at another parent for driving an expensive vehicle? If I was the parent, I would just tell my kid, "Look at the pretty horsey, but don't touch it unless they let you." Okay. NTA. Eye-catching. But nothing wrong with that. The horse is part of your life. My dad used to turn up on his motorbike when I was old enough to give me a ride home from school. Nobody else got picked up on a moped, let alone a 750cc motorcycle. I know he was showing off. And he worked in a factory, so he liked to be in the open air after his shift ended. But it was still dead cool. NTA. If you showed up in a really cool car or truck the kids like, does everyone get a ride? You also sound appropriately safety focused. Making sure pony is good around people, for example. It is a nice treat if handled well. That mom did not. But what do I know? If I had a pony, I'd ride him on my boat. NTA. Done that as well. In neophobe Switzerland. People lost it as well, but we were having fun. Okay, I was on a huge 2,000-pound cold-blood with hooves like big plates. So as long as I was there, nobody dared to say anything. Only when I was gone. Some mothers freaked out about how dangerous this all was. But I didn't take it seriously. People also lost it when I gave my kids sushi in a bento box to kindergarten and claimed it's dangerous to eat raw fish. Forbade them to eat the sushi. And called me at home. What I was thinking. You can't make everybody happy. You are not pizza. I was talking to my friend this weekend and she said I was in fact the problem and I was blatantly showing off and should have known that this would cause upset and problems. NTA. I disagree about the showing off. I disagree that it would cause problems. No question it would attract problems. But there is a difference between being the target of bullies and causing others to engage in bullying behavior. That is a matter of other people's character and insecurities, not yours for being non-conforming. And you handled the situation correctly. NTA. Hell NTA. You kids has learned to ride. Knows the animal and is with you as a reward for doing the chores that come with the animal. Using the school run for exercise is fine. The animal is not distressed and you seem to be doing it safely. The other parent is the because they don't understand animal safety or good manners. You're breaking no laws, doing nothing wrong and enriching your kid's life. NTA. I might be biased as I do live rurally. But I really don't see an issue as long as the route is horse-friendly. Which from your post it seems it is. NTA. You're not a mind reader. Nor is it your responsibility to constantly fret about how every little thing you do might be perceived. If we all lived like that, we'd never get anything done. You did something special for your daughter. And that's what matters. Riding her pony to school is a unique and enjoyable experience for her. And it's great that you're encouraging her interests and responsibilities related to horse care. It's important for kids to have these kinds of experiences that they'll remember fondly. As for the other parent's reaction and your mate's comments, it sounds like a classic case of tall poppy syndrome. Some people just can't help but have a whinge when they see someone else doing something different. Or having a bit of fun. Parents who'd rather not deal with their own kids' tantrums will find any excuse to pass the buck. It's not showing off to engage in activities you and your daughter enjoy. Especially when it's something as harmless as riding a pony to school. The fact that you show up in jodhpurs and boots already clues people in that horses are a part of your life. It's not like you rocked up with a pony out of the blue to cause a scene. Keep being yourself and doing fun stuff with your daughter. It's these sorts of experiences that build character and fond memories. Don't let a few sour grapes spoil what was a good deed and a great day for your daughter. Good on ya for being such a supportive parent. I think I fall on nah. Bringing the horse to school was guaranteed to cause a fuss among a bunch of little kids. That doesn't mean it's wrong that you did it. I just think that it was a very predictable outcome that at least one kid would get scared, get upset they couldn't ride it, get in a tizzy, etc., and that this could trigger frustration in a parent. So if you were not anticipating that, I would agree with no self-awareness thing. And obviously, showing up with a whole horse is different from you showing up in jods and boots. I do think you're fine to do it. But if, when a child flips out and a parent gets annoyed, you have to roll with that as an outcome of bringing a horse around a bunch of little kids. NTA. Think about it. How are you the for someone else's spoiled brat throwing a tantrum for not getting their way? And I'm sorry, but showing off? Sounds to me like your friend might be a little bit jealous. Horses are expensive pets to keep. If you were to add up the overall cost and keep for a horse, you could afford a very fancy car. Would you be showing off still if you were to pull up to the school in an expensive car? Your daughter enjoyed her ride to school. Let everyone else get lost. IDK. Seems like an unpopular opinion, but I'm going with Esh. The other parent didn't react great, for sure, but I'm not sure what you expected would happen when other single-digit children your child riding to school on a pony. And I'm certain the teachers probably didn't appreciate the spectacle plus generally disruption it surely caused in the classrooms that morning. NTA. Some people just need to live with that they cannot get everything. NTA. Our neighbor sometimes gets the kids with his tractor from school, daycare. My father sometimes got us with his motorcycle. I don't see the issue. Esh. Surely you knew showing up at an elementary school with a pony would draw attention. The mom should have a better handle on her kid. I feel worse for the teachers who had to redirect the kids from the excitement of the horseback to the lessons. Soft YTA. Maybe ESH. I think your friend is absolutely right that this was lack of awareness on your part. Though I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and believe you that you didn't do this to show off. You really should have seen this coming though. Maybe prearranged it with the school so everyone would know and the parents and teachers could work in an order to the chaos a sudden pony brings to a group of young children. The woman was rude, but I understand where she was coming from. She didn't take her daughter's side and try to force you to try and let her ride, but she could have been nicer in the way she expressed that she did not appreciate having to wrangle an 8-year-old who now wanted a pony she probably couldn't afford. And as for not actually bringing it onto school grounds, that's great. But again, small children seeing a nearby pony equals chaos and disorganization, even if it's not technically in the schoolyard. You still created a bunch of extra work for the other parents and teachers. And while I sympathize with not realizing at first, I hope you'll not do this again without running it by someone first. NTA. That child is a spoiled brat and the parents don't take responsibility for her actions, so they blame others for the child acting out. Not an asshole for having horses or showing off about them, but YTA for causing a circus at the school gates, dropping the kids to school and trying to get work amongst all the terrible parking, traffic chaos and general stress is horrible enough without having to navigate a crowd because someone brought a bloody pony along for the hell of it. NTA. What if you drove her to school in a fancy car? Should children be allowed to demand that they get to ride in the fancy car? Your kid wanted to ride her pony to school. You accommodated that wish. No one else gets to vote on your safe method of transportation. I mean, yes, you had to know it was going to cause a stir. If you want to cause a stir at school every morning, go ahead and be that parent.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.